We are back here on Girl Talk. We're at the Greenery with Mike Armistead. Thank you for joining us. It's a treat. I've known you for a long, long time, and you have the coolest job here, and we're excited to talk to you about it.
Well, thank you.
What do you do?
I oversee the seasonal color program for the Greenery, which entails the Hilton Head Island area, Hardyville, Beaufort, and all the way to Savannah now. So
I'm so impressed with you. The seasonal color coordinator, that's about the coolest thing I've ever heard. What does that really mean in terms of commercial properties, residential properties? What do you do?
we oversee more of the commercial properties, the big developments like Long Cove, the Palmetto Dunes, the Sun City. Those big developments, we have all the entry beds at the front entries throughout the development. There's flower beds that we have to, they have certain colors they want in certain places. We create other color palettes that they enjoy, so it's a never-ending job of trying to create something new. Total of about 80,000 square feet of flowers that we have to come up with in 2 rotations per year.
You said it is one of the most joyful jobs and careers you've ever had, and I think what's interesting about that is you come by this very naturally. You have a history of working with flowers and landscaping for a long time.
Yes, ma'am. I've been in the business 25 years. I started with a company out of Atlanta that taught me some very good things on how to do flowers correctly. So as I've always said, I guess it's a method of madness that I do, and there's a way I do it, and it's something I've always done, and I think it works.
Let me ask you from a practical point of view, do most of your customers and clients really have a feel or a flavor of the look they want, the color palette they want, or is it, there's a lot more science to it, a lot more psychology to it, I think, than people realize?
Well, there is a lot involved, especially when you have irrigation issues. You know, you have to look at that, whether a bed's going to be a wet bed, a dry bed, what kind of plants you can use in a wet and a dry situation. Color palettes, yes, a lot of the plantations have their particular colors and particular plants that they want, so we have to create with that. Others, we just try to, again, we try to create something new and different that nobody's seen.
Well, we're talking about the fall season now, which is one of my favorites and absolutely rich with jewel tones. What do you do? What are some of the things that you would recommend for this season especially?
Right now, you're going to start seeing in your big box stores, you'll see the mums coming in for this fall.
True.
You'll have a lot of different colors of mums, yellows, whites, pink, lavender.
Last year you had those gorgeous, rich, almost cinnamon color. That was beautiful.
Correct. That's another color. And that's what you'll be seeing going in places where beds are tiring out right now, just kind of from the long, hot summer. We'll replace some of those, and about 5 or 6 weeks you'll get out of those, and then we start coming in the middle of October with our violas, pansies, the charge, the mustards, all your winter type material.
What makes you all different? What sets you apart from, let's say, some of the bigger stores? I know it seems to me caliber and quality of plants, quite frankly.
We try to grow, we utilize different growers in the local areas instead of these big box growers out of different states for our flower beds and our properties.
Does it just make them more hardy?
They're grown in this area, so yes, they're a hardier plant for this atmosphere, for this client, I mean for the area here. So that does make a big difference when you're ordering.
So what does it look like for you in practical terms? Do you work with supervisors? Do you work with folks at some of the different commercial areas or residential areas and help them plan their palette, if you will?
Correct. We have all the supervisors that oversee the different plantations. They know what their clients are looking for, so I meet with them ahead of time. We go over different colors, what they're looking for, numbers, what worked last year, what didn't work, what we'd like to see different. Then I create those beds, type those orders up, and then send all those orders out to the different growers who grow those particularly for us to put in at a particular week during the season.
I tell you what, this is a well-oiled, well-honed machine. It is amazing. And I guess what I really want to know, and I think it's just more curiosity than anything, is practically speaking, as a plantation owner, if I want to create an ambiance of, is that the kind of feeling that it is? In other words, it's autumn coming and I want to make sure I have color throughout the season? Correct,
and that's the whole thing, is we're trying to make that first impression impact of color that you're going to see as you come down the road. It's like,
whoa,
you know, what was that? You know, that's what we're trying to get, that where people are driving by beds at 60 miles an hour, we want to make sure it's an impact bed, something that they can see. A walk-by bed, you can do something different.
Okay, but these are big impact areas. Oh, it makes a lot. What are very trendy colors now? What are you seeing as far as people, what is the look? Is it lush? Is it sparse? Is it lots of color? Is it one color?
I feel like that you do a lot with solid colors. You can do a lot with 2 or 3 solid colors, or you'll see a lot that's going on now where we're trying to utilize different heights, textures, foliage color, not just a flower, but utilizing foliage color to give you a palette with the blooming flower also.
Well, being a designer, it's actually very similar in the design world right now. We're doing a lot with different textures, different color combinations, a lot of blending rather than matchy-matchy. So you're seeing pretty much the same kind of thing.
And it just depends on the look of what the plantation, CEO or whatever, what they're looking for. Do they want just a flat color, or do they want a pop, a wow factor? So we will utilize different, like I said, different colors of foliage, heights.
And does all this change seasonally? Do you usually do 2, 3, 4 different seasons, or? 2
is usually our main change-outs. We try to only do 2 change-outs. One would be starting in mid-October, and the other one is starting in mid-April. And the mid-April would be for our summer flowers, which are now winding down. We're getting ready to change out to the fall, which would be all of your violas, pansies,
mums, all that.
Well, the mums won't make it through the entire winter. They're kind of like from now till October. You'll get about 5 weeks out of those, and then we usually pull those out and go back in with more violas and pansies for the winter.
I'll tell you what, there is nothing more fun than having you all here at the Greenery corralled so we can get all of our questions asked. You should see what we talk about off camera too, because it's art. Now, in my house, here's what we need. But Mike, you're great. Thank you so much for joining us again. We're here at the Greenery. It's amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you all for joining us here on Girl Talk. Bye-bye.